76% of the straight bets are on North Dakota State to beat Colorado straight up. Not sure what the hell that means, but that's the thing that's going on.
You think that's like people just hate Deion, or is that people who think they're good at gambling?
I think it's people.
Maybe a little both.
A combination, and I will add, why wouldn't you think the best FCS team or one of the better FCS teams could go out there and beat
Because we saw it last week with Montana State. I mean, they ended up winning, but they didn't cover.
But if North Dakota State wins, they would cover. What's the line on that? 9.5 or something?
9.5.
Yeah, like Colorado is still not a good football team from a talent standpoint. Going back to the notebook,
they do have two first-round picks on the team.
Okay, that's
right.
That's great. Those same two were there last year, and they couldn't block and they couldn't defend the pass.
Yeah.
Colorado, top 10 in the transfer portal rankings. Only FBS team, and I'm pretty sure the only team in Division I football with 40-plus transfers. They had 43 dudes transfer in from the portal. That's not how you build a winning roster. If you got that many holes on your roster, Georgia does a great job, right? Georgia gets into the portal, get the players that they need, shore up the holes that they need, and then they hop back out. If you need 43 transfers to come in and salvage your program, your program's not in a real good spot. I really do question Colorado's depth, specifically along the offensive line still, and in the secondary.
To your point, CJ, this was the issue with Colorado last year. Now, they hired Warren Sapp as their defensive line coach, but last year, you said they're still weak on the offensive line. That is everything you hear. That Colorado, they did not address that. They're starting a true freshman at their left tackle spot to try and protect their first-round quarterback. But if you're not good on the offensive line, last year they were not good on the defensive line, but apparently a little bit better. We saw that really come into play kind of after that first game. Nebraska was able to control some things at the line of scrimmage, but didn't quite have the talent. Colorado State should have beaten them. And then you really saw the difference in line play. When you really do step up and play the better teams in the country, that is where you notice it, where it's a difference. When we saw Georgia play TCU in the national title game a couple years ago, the size of Georgia's offensive and defensive line compared to TCU, it's crazy. And we saw it last year when they played a team like Oregon, Colorado did, when they got absolutely waxed by Oregon. And that'll be the thing to see this year for Colorado. Are you good up front? Because if they're not, it doesn't going to matter. You're not going to compete for what Deion Sanders wants them to compete for if you are not going to be good enough to compete on the offensive line and the defensive line.
Now, forget competing with the good teams in the FBS. Are you good enough to compete with the FCS schools? Right? Like, that's how bad that offensive line is. And if Deion Sanders, who is a really good collegiate quarterback, if he's running for his life and doesn't have time to find a player with the talent of Travis Hunter, like, it's all for naught. All of that skill, all of that talent means nothing if you can't keep the quarterback upright.
And shout out to their running back, Dallin Hayden, transfer from Ohio State, Memphis kid, went to Christian Brothers High School here in town.
All right, nice.